Welcome everybody to the big show. It's a live session here, the slow kind on YouTube, and if you follow Bullet Brawls closely, which of course you all do, I know you got nothing better to do in your cubicle than sit there and wait for your opportunity to waste a little bit of time, then you are familiar with the fact that I said I would be playing this player, FIDE Master Evan Ju, who you can see outrates me by about 150 points here on the Chess.com live server when it comes to blitz. We just played a couple games in Bullet. He said he wasn't liking that for today, and he wanted to make the switch over to blitz, which that's okay with me right now. That sounds like a fun idea. So we're going to go ahead and play some blitz. And here it's a 3-minute game, which of course is still pretty up-tempo stuff. And this is a bishop g5, knight orf, mainline knight orf. And he and I have played this line a few times before. This isn't our first rodeo, so to speak. And this is definitely an awkward approach here today by me. I'm delaying castling, not castling long either, which is also sort of the typical thing that black does in this line. I'm expecting he might go for something like knight to d5 now in this situation. And how do I deal with that? Can I take on d5 twice? Bishop takes and then queen takes? It was an interesting possibility. Not sure it would have been a great one. But the position is definitely an awkward one now. Maybe he plays f5 because he wants to take on f6 and immediately played bishop c4, which makes sense. So he's really putting it to me right now. I'm not happy with my position in this bishop g5 knight orf misplayed out of the opening. I don't know that the queen b6 move order was correct there after knight to b3. So. But too late now to cry over spilled milk. I'm pretty sure that's how the saying goes, right? That's a thing, right? Isn't it? Either way, we're in a tough position, but it's blitz. So it's not over until it's red rover. My opponent is allowing me this opportunity to play b5 and trap his bishop. If I play b5 and he takes on e7 and I take on c4 with tempo, he can take on d6. And then I have some problems, huh? So it's an interesting possibility to consider allowing him to take on e7, but I think I need to just defend the d6 pawn. My only issue is how do I do that? Something like rook to d8, I guess, a move I don't really want to play, but I'm going to do it. Aha, this was his idea that I didn't see coming. He just plays b4, and now I have big trouble. Big trouble, little China. My queen is getting herself in a little bit of a tango over there, bringing the queen back to... Ooh, that was Ouchtown. Now if I play queen to b5, he simply plays knight to c7 check. So let's go ahead and resign and just run this thing back, because that really wasn't a fair showing. I didn't play well. Making this transition to the slower time control, I was a little bit thrown off. No excuses here. He obviously beat me, but I can play better than that, and I know that. So I would like to go play another game. And he accepts the challenge, which is good. Good Hollywood. Let's go ahead and do this thing. We know that Evan's a very strong blitz player, so gonna have to play well. Gonna have to play well to take him down here. We are playing a line you've seen before, like I said in the last Bullet Brawl, and I pre-moved again. It's like I'm forgetting that it's blitz and not bullet here. So frustrating by me so far to pretty much lose 2 games quickly because of just this silliness of taking a time. There was no reason to pre-move that, assuming he was going to be playing the same line he did in the bullet game. So, too late now to cry. I'm going to castle along and try to mix this thing up dynamically. At the very least, I'm going to play a little faster than I did the last game. I want to win this game and push this thing to a rubber match. That's the plan. That is usually the plan, and it will continue to be the plan here. So he's going to take on c5, I assume. Maybe I have ideas with knight to g5. Positions are still not that clear, and with kings on opposite sides of the board, of course, there's always a chance to create an initiative. I need to play quickly and use the fact that I'm probably a little bit faster than him, hence the difference in our bullet ratings is about the same difference here in the blitz rating, so need to push him and get him under a little bit of time pressure here, especially considering that I totally botched the opening. Let's quickly bring the rook to e1, threatening to play knight takes d5, using the pin on the queen here. He's probably going to play queen takes c5, but I've still a couple good moves to consider there, including knight to g5. So somehow this position worked out okay, even after the terrible opening. Knight to g5 certainly looks good for me. In fact, after g6, I have 2 options. One, of course, is just to take e6, which seems like the obvious choice. But the other has definitely got to be just queen h3 and ask him exactly how he intends on guarding h7. If I had played queen h3 there, the only move might have been queen e7, and then I could still consider taking on e6. So things would have gotten weird, that's for sure. Now he plays rook f5, which leaves me with a couple good options. I can take on e6 if knight takes, bishop takes, rook takes, d5 is hanging as well as the rook. Seems like kind of the no-brainer to do, right? But the other option is to play a move like h4, guarding the knight and intending to play a move like g4, because if he moves the rook next, I can take on h7. I'm going to go ahead and play h4 and suggest that I think his position is a little bit more difficult than me having to settle on just taking a pawn on e6. That decision may come back to bite me, I'm not sure. Now he has this move knight to b4. And if I play queen to d4, takes, I hit the knight. It's still interesting for me. So knight to b4 was definitely the best move there for him. If I move my queen over to a square like g3, he might play d4 then. And if I take e6, he takes, I take with the rook, he takes on c3. I don't see any immediate tactics. Unnecessary to go for that trap, I guess. I can even just play queen to e2, though, and intend to meet d4 with knight takes e6. Or blunder to the obvious rook f2. Wow. Well, just getting myself in trouble here. Just getting myself in trouble. An unnecessary amount of trouble. Now he has the move knight takes a2 check, and then he can take on c3 with check, and I'm just in big trouble. There was just no reason not to take on e6 and have a little bit better position, huh? Well, unfortunately, it doesn't look like I'm calculating my opponent's responses at a very high level today. Knight takes a2, my only move is king b1, knight c3, bc3. I know I have to go for this. He's going to give check. And I'm going to move my king back to c1. And it's still a little awkward for him, I guess you could say, because of the threat on h7. But perhaps the simplest move for him now is just a move like h6. h6 looks pretty good for him. I'll have to take on e6. For the record, a move like knight e4 forking the queen and rook doesn't work, because he can play a move like queen to b6 check first. And then he can take. So if knight takes e6 and he plays queen b6 check right away, I move my king, he takes on e6, and I'm busted. So nothing looks happy for me now, does it? If knight to e4, queen b5 check, king moves, he takes on e4, I have no tactics. This just doesn't look very, very fun. Looks like I'm completely lost. Knight takes e6, queen b6 check, king moves. I need to slow down a little bit and not be such a dummy. Not be such a dummy by playing unnecessarily fast. So, well, this is a little frustrating. I'll play an awkward move and just not resign yet, in the hopes that maybe the time scramble offers something, but position is completely and easily lost. Unfortunately. Yep, he takes there. I'm going to play knight f4. Thought so. I'm going to maybe try to bring my knight to d3, where it defends things a little bit. A little bit of a defender there on d3. Yep. He comes up and attacks on c2, which is what I thought. I have to block. He takes, I take. Now my plan was to attack e6. Okay, well, if he's going to let me take the endgame, I guess I got to take it. I'm not really thrilled about it, but I think I have to be. Have to be at least somewhat happy. a5 takes, a4, a3. I get over just in time, so the position did become completely unclear. Somehow, some way, holding on here for dear life. And now we're going to advance these pawns. Well, we will happily take that. And come back. Maybe we can just come over here and just pick up this guy. Well, he wants that, but I say nay. So I'm going to take here with check and then push. And I'm actually going to be completely winning here, I think. The only problem now is I'm getting down to just as much load time as him. Okay, well, I have to move. Wow, he didn't take it. That was silly of him. That was very silly of him. I don't know what he's doing now. Whoa. He just like blew the whole game. That was very strange of him. So, I will push and come over and queen. And somehow, some way, I managed to win this completely lost 3-minute game. Well, that means we got to play a rubber match. I don't think we really have a choice. We don't really have a choice. Okay, well, I'm trying to challenge my opponent to one more rubber match. He doesn't want to play. Not happy about his results today. Even though he beat me pretty handily the first game and should have won this game. So let's see if I can bait him into playing one more rubber match, everybody. Okay, well, unable to get FIDE Master Evan Ju to accept my rubber match challenge, but the good news is we have an even stronger opponent, Grandmaster honestgirl, who remains anonymous here on the Chess.com live server, though I actually know who he is. I cannot reveal who he is, although I guess I just revealed that it is a guy, right, even with the name honestgirl, so we'll see if he makes a move here or if the server aborts it. Come on now. Come on now, honestgirl. I know you're there. Well, if he does abort, we will look for somebody else, so no one panic here. Enjoy this longer live session, blitz session here today. Okay, e4, e6. He is here today. He showed up, honestgirl. Again, I will try to hold my tongue, make sure I don't reveal his identity. He asked us to keep it anonymous for now. But here we have a French, actually the same French that Mr. Evan Ju and I have been playing until that move d takes e4, which is a different line, and a5. Not the most common approach here, at least not the most common approach I'm used to. But again, he's a strong GM, so I'm sure he has some idea in mind as far as what his preparation is in this line. But I'm going to play the moves that seem most natural to me currently, potentially bringing the knight to h4 and strange ideas that can follow that are some of the things that white can try for here. He plays rook a5. I expect him to maybe have this interesting shot, bishop a6, come in at some point, like if I castle here. But maybe I'll castle long and call his bluff and see if we can't mix this thing up and get real crazy. d5 is definitely just begging to be played here. Just seems like such a fancy idea, too strong to pass up. e5, not a move that he's happy to play. I'm going to quickly bring my knight in to f5, and this doesn't look like a fun position for Grandmaster honestgirl here, who, like I said, is a strong GM. I can confirm he's on the north side of 2650 FIDE. That's what I'll say. But okay, here we go. Rook to c5 with the very obvious intention that he wants to sacrifice on c3. I'll give up the d5 pawn happily, with no second thoughts about it, and then bring my other knight into f5 again immediately to follow that. There are ideas, of course, of taking d5 and then moving this knight on e4 with some sort of discovery, but it doesn't seem like anything obvious would come of it just yet, so I'm not going to. I'm going to take on d5 now, bring the rook to d1, and of course I will be threatening immediate moves like rook takes d5, followed by a discovery with the knight to win the queen. We'll see how he deals with that. My thought is that if he has to play a move like c6, there may be some ideas of putting the knight into d6 with check anyway. And if he has to retreat the bishop, okay, well he doesn't, but after c6 there's several good moves here, including knight to d6 check, bishop takes, knight takes, king moves, and then I take on d5, or I come back to f5 check. That looks strong. But of course, so does the move c4 here. And if he takes e4, I can even take with the queen. And he can't castle. I'm starting to play queen takes c6 with check. The position looks too good to be true right now. It's a little bit unnerving, actually, to know that there are probably a number of really great moves here, so I need to not think too much. I guess we'll go for this line. Seems natural. Okay, well he says he's okay with that too, but I'm going to give this check on g7, which will force him to run to d8, and now I can continue an assault on the d file, threatening, of course, to take on e6 and then win immediately. Moves like this look to be saving the day temporarily, but I can play a move like take e6 and then move my knight and take on c6. It all looks pretty good, right? Should I take f6? He takes e6 with check, he takes, then I take on c6. That line looks to be pretty strong as well, but I'm going to play a simple retreating move here. And open up the idea of bringing my knight around to the queen side, because I can also have ideas like taking a4 and taking on b6, since this queen is completely tied down to d7. So I have under a minute. I've maybe taken a little bit too much time playing some of these natural moves. Trying to be careful, make sure we bring home the bacon here today. Being this will be the last game of this particular live session after the 2 with Mr. Evan Ju, we'll consider this a rubber match on the day if I can take 2 out of 3. Taking on e6 is still very nice, and probably I should just do it now, or should I leave the knight on g7? I think I should take. I should take, and then take here. He's going to play knight to c5. I'm going to move the queen over. Potentially I'd like to bring my knight into b5. There's also weird threats like bishop d7 and then queen to c6 check. But first I think knight to b5 would be the natural thing to do. Yeah, we'll go ahead and play knight to b5. And now what I wanted to do was find a way to bring the queen in, but how? How now, brown cow? Don't take too much time here. I guess play bishop to d7 anyway. Preparing to play queen to c6. Yeah, I thought we might see this, but I don't really want to draw, of course. This is the problem. So how do I play here? I can trade and then play knight c7 check and then take on e6. Well, I guess I might as well go for that, even though it's a horrible concession. Horrible concession of the position that I didn't get something that was much more easily winning there. Frustrating to say the least, but I'm going to go after this pawn here and be frustrated. Ooh, he didn't play there. Okay, well, we'll give this check and we'll come around. We will give that check and we will come around. Okay, well, bishop to d3 still seems pretty strong. I'm threatening to play the move c5 check, and then a discovered check, actually, would be winning on the spot. So maybe he'll take. Okay, well, I have this check now. Okay, well, that was awkward. Sorry about that, everybody. Okay. Cannot do it. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, why did I do that? The call distracted me. Stupid Skype call. Go away. That was just so frustrating. What is going on here? I can't believe that I'm going to blow this right now. Can't believe it. Too bad to be true. It's too bad to be true. We need to play quickly here. Still not over yet. I might be able to get something here. Unfortunately, he will not leave me alone. This Skype caller here. Okay, well, he's still down on time. That's the only advantage I have right now. All right, well, I managed to win. Managed to take out Grandmaster Honest Girl here, and we're going to be super pumped about the day, even with completely blowing the position. Having to concede into that endgame was not the thing I was happy about, but looked like I was still winning here, still very happy with the position. Of course, a number of moves here are still winning. I just decided to give check and take on f5. Giving check was sort of a sloppy blitz decision, but now there's no reason to take on e2. And, of course, moves like rook e5 just pick up the pawn old school way, and black should be resigning very shortly. But I'm glad that the position was still unclear enough that I could take it home. I hope you enjoyed this longer live session on Chess.com's YouTube channel. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. Don't forget to join Chess.com to see the real video lectures that take place, and I will see you around on the main site, everybody.